Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to the Audio Analyst. Pardon me. Welcome to the first anniversary episode. Yes, it was just 1 year ago today on Mother's Day 2020 that the first episode dropped here on the channel. Now, while I had hoped and maybe even dared to believe in the encouragement from my supporters and sponsors, the growth the channel has seen over this past year has exceeded my wildest expectations. Now, with well over 1,000 subscribers and averaging over 4,000 views per month, it seems that I truly have something to celebrate. And it is all thanks to the large, curious, and dedicated viewership I've garnered here with viewers like you. Now, to this point, I've presented 47 episodes, defined essentially by 5 categories of videos on the channel. With 12 commentaries, like my personal audio industry history or my defense of the hyper audio market, 12 instructional installments, like those on understanding and managing the acoustics of your listening room or how to get the best from your dynamic loudspeaker setup in your room. So far I've presented 8 interviews, including speaker designers Leif Swanson and Andrew Jones, and Parasound founder Richard Schramm. 8 hardware reviews, like those on the remarkable Mola Mola Tambaki DAC and the ridiculously overachieving Silversmith Audio Fidelium loudspeaker cables. And I've done 9 of my guilty treasure recording examinations, like those on the 1972 Schulte Beethoven's Night or Roger Waters' Amused to Death. Now, with any luck, I'm hoping that before the end of this calendar year, I will be able to introduce you to my planned 6th and 7th categories of episodes of show reports and factory tours. Now, show reports will eventually mean designer interviews and conversations, and would include room tours and listening sessions. Now, in this regard, though the inaugural Pacific Audio Fest had originally set its time for the summer of 2020 at the Washington Doubletree Hilton SeaTac, pre-COVID, it was quickly rescheduled for July 30th through August 1st of this year. Now, even as recently as April 7th, in conversations I had with both Lou Hinckley and Gary Gill, it looked as though it just might happen on those dates. But on April 18th, after learning of Governor Inslee's decision to roll back the reopening status for 3 counties in the state of Washington, with both obvious concern and understandable disappointment, they announced that they would postpone the inaugural Pacific Audio Fest until July 29th through 31st, 2022. Now, not counting the Hong Kong high-end audiovisual show, which is currently still set for an August 6th through 8th, 2021 run, the next show to announce its cancellation was Munich High End. Originally set to start on April 27th, it too, like the Pacific Audio Fest, had been set for a fall schedule of September 9th through 12th of this year. They too have chosen the more cautious move and have rescheduled for May 19th to 22nd of 2022. That leaves our MAF, the Rocky Mountain Audio Fest, next up, slated for October 8th through 10th, 2021, at the Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center in Aurora, Colorado. As of my last Facebook communication with Marjorie Baumert this past week, she was still quite hopeful of being able to move ahead with that event, which would make it the first in the U.S. since the pandemic lockdown of last spring. We're all keeping our fingers crossed. Next up would be Expona, originally announced for this past spring over the weekend of March 3rd of this year. And, like most, they too had announced to reschedule with fall dates of August 27th through the 29th. But they also have decided to push further into the fall, with a planned October 29th through 31st schedule at the Renaissance Schaumburg Hotel and Convention Center in Schaumburg, Illinois. Now, last, and not by any measure least, would come Capitol Audio Fest, held at the Twin Brook Hilton in Rockville, Maryland, set for November 5th through the 7th of this year. So we'll have to keep our eyes open and see how those come down, and with any luck, we'll have 2 or 3 shows at least this year. We'll see how it goes. But guys, I have to tell you that when I started this channel, I had no idea how much work creating some of these episodes would entail. From selecting a germane topic, to the necessary research to assure its veracity, striving to keep the topic interesting, accurate, and significant, particularly in my self-imposed 20-odd minute allotted time frame, to the production, editing, and posting of the finished videos themselves. Now, one thing that I hope everyone has noticed is that the production values have improved along the way. Without question, the largest complaint I heard of the first 6 episodes was the audio quality was not what it could be. Now, to be fair, though I spent a good deal of time on radio when I was much younger, while in and then just out of high school, I had no idea what microphone or microphones would be the best or even adequate for this purpose. As such, I searched to find out what other vloggers and YouTubers were using. So based only on my initial research, I started by purchasing a fairly pricey camera-mounted stereo video mic Pro from Australian-based microphone manufacturer Rode. Now, this was a highly rated microphone using a pair of fairly advanced pressure gradient transducers in an XY cardioid polar pattern, and with a Lister frequency response of 40 Hz to 20 kilohertz, and with a dynamic range capability of 100 decibels. Sounded really good. But the distance between the mounted microphone on the camera and my speaking location just wasn't conducive to capturing the full tonality of my voice or rejecting the ambient noise of the room itself. So the next 14 episodes saw me move to a fairly affordable Movo VHF wireless lavalier microphone. Now, while this was clearly a step up in noise rejection and clarity, it was neither stereo nor all that tonally pleasing. What to do? Well, my audio bud, David Solomon, the Qobuz high-resolution music evangelist here in the U.S., came through for me when he put me in touch with Russ and Chris at Sonic Presence in New York. I ordered the ridiculously affordable stereo SP15 microphone and haven't looked back since. I'm wearing it right now. It is the 2 little spheres hanging off each of my ears. Now, so far, this has been not only a fabulous sounding microphone, but one that was easy and convenient to use. And let me tell you, for someone who's been in business for 50 years, their customer service sets a new paradigm for our industry. Period. Thanks, guys. I'm so glad and so grateful to be working with you. Now, in light of the fact that I'm working an average 50-hour week as the IT and IS manager for a 140,000 square foot manufacturing plant for a global automotive manufacturer, supplying a wide range of products to automakers and the aftermarket, I'm sorry to announce that I have to scale back my productions to once every other week rather than every week for at least the next 6 months or so. Guys, come the end of November, I'll reevaluate the situation, and if practical, I will resume the weekly schedule. Over the next months, besides bringing you more interviews with industry luminaries like Gail Sanders of Martin Logan and Icon Audio, John McDonald of Audience, Jeffrey Silver of Silversmith Audio, and J.R. Boisclair of Wham Engineering, you can be sure that there will also be plenty more product reviews, more Guilty Treasure recording tours, as well as more commentaries and instructional episodes. And If I'm to be honest here, I really can't wait for the shows to start back up. I think you will really enjoy the first-hand tours, the looks and listens into some of the best sounding and most exotic rooms from every show I attend. My goal will be to allow you to feel as if you are there, walking alongside me at these wondrous, magical, and unique events, wherever they may be held. Now, as an aside, two other areas that have stemmed the most interest are those surrounding my t-shirt collection and my drink recipe. Most have noticed that I have made a habit of wearing a different shirt for every episode so far. And some of you have asked just how long that practice may go on. Well, without giving too much away, I've just about exhausted my existing collection of tour, band, and manufacturer shirts. So, unless people start sending me viable tees to wear for upcoming episodes, that convention may come to an end within the next few months. Now, for this episode, given that this past Tuesday was May the 4th, I feel this vintage late 70s tee was appropriate. And as to my episodic libation, I have become a fan of Highland single malt scotches and favor martinis. Now, when I was younger, I drank gin and tonic, almost exclusively made with Tanqueray. And speaking of Tanqueray, have you heard the song Tanqueray from the 1991 Johnny Johnson record, Johnny Be Bad? Check it out. But while I made the move to martinis, back when I did that, I vastly preferred Bombay Blue Sapphire to most other comers. Until my sister's husband introduced me to Hendrick's, which, coincidentally, much like my preferred single malt scotches, is crafted in the Highlands of Scotland. And just for the record, when someone orders a martini, they mean a drink crafted from gin. If you want a vodka martini, so be it. But either order it as such, or don't be surprised when your drink arrives made of gin. Now, I've had so many requests for my martini recipe that I'm going to share it here. Not that it's a big secret. Now, I will suggest that the real takeaway from this recipe is knowing that I don't use a shaker and ice, that I simply keep the Hendrick's in the freezer along with the cocktail glasses. The texture and consistency of the nearly frozen spirits makes for a remarkable experience. Try it. Now, beyond that, this is my typical, perfectly chilled, arid Hendrick's martini, garnished with 3 pitted Spanish olives. Now, I have added mandarin orange slices as a garnish instead of olives, But by arid, I simply mean that it is even drier than Sir Winston Churchill's original recipe. Legend has it that Winnie liked his martini served without any vermouth actually being added to the drink, just present in the same room, apparently. He has been quoted as saying of the drink, "Glance at the vermouth bottle briefly while pouring the juniper distillate freely." Now, my martini hasn't even seen a vermouth bottle, let alone become polluted by any. Sorry for the diversions off topic here, guys, but seriously, I cannot adequately express my thanks and gratitude for the support of my work here at the channel. I am so encouraged by how rapidly and fully the channel has grown, and by how broadly it has been embraced. It is so humbling and exciting to have received such gracious and positive feedback on my efforts thus far, and across so varied and diverse a representative audience, from hobbyists to burgeoning audiophiles to seasoned audiophiles, from journalists, composers, reviewers, musicians, writers, and editors, from retailers, wholesalers, distributors, designers, and manufacturers. I truly look forward to just how much further we can take this channel in the coming year. Thank you for making this all possible. If you are enjoying the content and information presented here and would like to see more content like it, please click that subscribe button and don't forget to like and share links to your favorite episodes with your friends or on social media. I love hearing from you, so be sure to post comments and questions. And information on supporting the channel, if you should choose to, may be found in today's description section or at my website, theaudioanalyst.com. Thanks again for finding the time to drop by and visit today. Please stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next week, cheers.